Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Mavens, Real Estate Uncovered with Michelle and Allie. So I'm glad that you're here today. I'm so glad that we're doing this podcast because I think it's so important to kind of really lift the veil on real estate. There's so many moving pieces to purchasing or selling a home that I feel like a lot of maybe sellers and buyers don't know the nuts and bolts of the process. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that you're able to sit with me and we can help educate people on, the stuff that they need to know, because ultimately for most people, buying real estate is the most important or the highest priced item that they purchase in their lifetime. And for a lot of families, it's their legacy that they leave behind.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of in this era of the internet. There's so much information out there, but it's like completely out of context.
Sorry.
Yes.
You said internet. I was thinking of the mic.
Should I have been like dial-up internet? The worldwide globe? No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is it called? Google?
No, yeah, Google. Safari. I don't know. Yes, no, I'm sorry.
The world. I knew an agent that lost a listing because he used the worldwide internet in his listing presentation.
Really?
Yeah.
World Wide Web?
Yeah. And they were
Why?
like, how old are you, 80? So, okay. No, but truly, it's amazing. You can Google search a million things. However, it's all mostly out of context most of the time.
True.
And so I have so many clients that will Google stuff and then they'll call me and they won't realize that what they Googled maybe doesn't apply to the state or doesn't apply to the county they're looking in or to them as individuals. It's a particular program for particular people or something. So I do think that it is a complex enough transaction that it really, that's why we're licensed experts, right?
Right.
We have special training to guide people through the process.
Totally. I'm so glad that you said that, because that's something that we've talked about, that we wanted to talk to, our viewers about, is not just, not Googling something, because you can Google it and you can be pulling stuff that's relevant to Minnesota or Washington or another country for that matter.
Yep.
Everything is so specific. It's not just specific to California, but it's specific to the city and sometimes even to the street.
Yep.
Right? And the county. There's certain cities in California that have a city transfer tax and some that don't.
Oh my gosh,
so,
totally.
I think that that's so important that we talk to our viewers about the importance of diving deep and being your own advocate and really asking the right questions to the experts that are in your sphere. Mm-hmm. Picking who your agent, who the agent you want to work with, picking the lender that you want to work with, picking the right option for lending that suits your needs, not just what Uncle Sam or what Uncle Harry told you to do because that's what he did.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and it can happen to any of us.
Right.
It's not about how intelligent you are.
Totally.
I always say all the clients I work with are extremely bright. We live in an area that's mostly professionals are doing real estate transactions here, so they're educated,
right,
intelligent professionals. So it has nothing to do with how smart you are or anything like that. There's just a lot of information taken out of context.
Right.
And so it is so important to have a professional that you trust guide you through the process. And some of it might be right, half of it, none of it, all of it. You want to be sure, because like you said, it's oftentimes, I think for most of our clients, real estate is one of their biggest assets, if not their biggest asset, and the biggest amount of debt they have to carry. And like you said, I love what you said about it being their legacy. That is very true.
Yeah, thank you. I think, so from your perspective, so being a lender, if you had a friend that were to come to you and say, hey, I want to buy my first home, what would you tell them the first step would be?
Well, the first step from a lending perspective on my side of the fence is you have to know what you can afford. Because I always tell clients, like, it's not fun to go out there, shop, be excited, fall in love with something, get emotionally attached to the idea of a particular community or house, only to then find out it's outside of your range of affordability.
Right.
So it's really hard to unsee a really cool house that you fell in love with, right?
Right.
And you compare every other house you look at to that house.
Right.
So what I always tell clients is it's so much better to go through the numbers first, know what you qualify for, which is one thing that matters.
Right.
And then the more important thing I always tell people is what are you comfortable with? Because I might be able to qualify you for a $2 million house, but you only feel comfortable having payments of a $1 million house.
Right.
So not only like what do you qualify for, but what are you comfortable having as your housing payment? I like to joke with clients and say like, I don't know, maybe you eat at Michelin restaurants every month or you buy Louboutins every week. And so I don't know how much of your income you want to spend on your house. Like, I don't know what the rest of your lifestyle is like.
Right.
Only clients know that, right?
Right.
So, so what's affordable? And then once you have that, then we've got your sweet spot. We've got your target purchase price. And then you can go to market and be like, okay, this is what I'm hoping to find something in this price range.
Totally.
So at least it gives you a really good like guidance, I feel like.
Perfect. I would say the same thing. I mean, any buyers, any clients that I have that are looking to purchase, I always, like, obviously I want to sit down with my clients and I want to have like an organic conversation about them and their lifestyle. Who's going to be living with them? What does the next 10 years look like? And really get a feel for what their lifestyle looks like so I can help find the right city, the right neighborhood, the right community, the right, home and property for them. But before I do that, it's so important to me as an agent to make sure that I pair them up with a lender that, that they work with, that they enjoy working with, so they can do all the things that you just said.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to start showing them houses and, or on the flip side, we just came from a market. It was slow. It was definitely a seller's market. There wasn't a whole lot going on, but given that we're going into an election year, we're anticipating the market picking up.
Yep.
Right? So when that happens, we're going to have, assuming interest rates come down, we're going to have more buyers that are getting serious about buying because they were holding off in 2023. It's so important that when you go in to start shopping for homes, you're prepared.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to bring my client to a house, know what they can afford, right? So let's say that they know what they can afford, they talk to a lender, and they know what their price range is. But it's so important that they're prepared with, their pre-approval and being fully underwritten. That way when they go in, they're not waiting and they can shorten the escrow period and they have more in their pocket in terms of negotiation.
Yeah.
And they come in with a strong offer.
Yeah, well, I love that. It's funny because I'm listening to you talk and like all these light bulbs are going off in my head of like all these avenues we can go deeper down into. But I always talk to buyers about being as competitive as possible when you find that house.
Yeah.
And being prepared is so key because if you're not prepared, I tell them, I guarantee you there's going to be 5 other buyers that like that same house that did prepare.
Right.
So now you're competing against people that prepared and you can't compete at the same level.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of clients don't understand that it is not always about price. A lot of times multiple buyers will come or arrive to the same price they're willing to pay for a property. So maybe we can talk a little bit like what are the other things that make buyers competitive outside of price? Because I feel like people just only think about price.
That's so true.
So what would you say is like you just got a house into contract today.
Yeah.
You looked at 7 offers, right?
Right.
So you had 7 people competing for this house. Can you share a little bit, like, what's that process that a seller goes through in deciding who to say yes to?
Yeah, so for me, it's important to highlight what's important to my clients. Because one client is going to say, what's most important to me is who buys my house. Yeah. Is it someone that's going to buy it and invest and flip it and resell it? Or this was my childhood home, I've lived in it, for 60 years. And I would love for it to go to a family, Yeah. And I want to highlight that. A lot of what I viewed today when presenting that was also contingencies, right? How many of the buyers were willing to shorten their contingency period or forego it all, or, their inspection contingency period, or forego inspections altogether? How many were willing to forego their appraisal, or shorten it, lengthen it? I mean, the standard is 17 days for both of those, for inspection and appraisal. But I think I had 1 out of 7 that that left it at 17. Everyone else wanted to be competitive, and they eliminated it altogether, or they shortened it. And we look at every single element. So we look at escrow, we look at how they're financing it. And if they came in, fully underwritten, I mean, it's pretty much cash.
Yep.
So when they come in prepared and they have already partnered with a lender and they're fully underwritten and they're ready to go, they're competing with that cash buyer.
That's exactly what we call it. We say making our clients cash-like.
Yep.
That's the language we use, because the biggest difference, what a lot of people don't realize, is the only real difference between a finance buyer and a cash buyer is that a cash buyer can close faster because they don't have to go through a bank process.
Right.
And they can waive their loan contingency because their purchase is not contingent upon a loan. So if somebody is prepared, like we're talking about, and fully underwritten in advance, they can also waive their loan contingency because they know they have full credit approval going into the offer. And we can close them in 15 days, like a cash buyer, because we've basically done a couple weeks worth of work in advance.
Right.
So what would generally be like a typical 30-day escrow can be reduced to 15 or 20 days.
Right.
So that is a huge thing that I talk about with clients. And then you were, I feel like you mentioned a lot of things in what you said that a lot of people may not understand what you're talking about. So we're kind of talking about the terms of the contract, right? There's like price.
Yeah.
And then there's terms to the contract, which is like how quick you can close.
Right.
How many outs, I call them, like how many buyer outs, which is like I get to inspect the property, and if I don't like it, I can get out of the deal.
Right.
I get to get a loan, and if my loan doesn't get approved, I can get out of the deal without losing my deposit.
Yep.
And then appraisal. I get to order an appraisal and see what fair market value is by a licensed third-party appraiser. And if it's not at what I'm buying it for, that's a possible out, right? So these are like some of the terms within the contract, right, that are kind of important.
Right.
And so as a seller, you're looking at that, right? Like who has more outs, so to speak, who's less confident about their close.
Right.
Is that how you would, how you would explain it to somebody? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's why I was, we had so many competitive offers that the cash buyers, they're able to waive the appraisal. And that was something that I was talking to my clients about is, this is how many days they have to get an appraisal done. But if they say, no, thank you, then to them, the house is more important than what the appraisal is. So regardless, for them, they don't care what it appraises at. They're going to pay what they want to pay because the value is in the home, you know?
Yeah. So that's a really important thing. I don't think a lot of buyers realize how they can make themselves look attractive to sellers outside of just price.
Right.
I feel like we're a very price-centered kind of culture.
Right.
Is there anything else that you feel like, well, we talked about what they should do on my end, like on the realtor side, what would you say is the first thing a buyer should do? Or a seller for that matter, but I'm sure they're not the same. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
What do you think a buyer that's thinking or getting curious about becoming a homeowner, what should they be doing aside from talking to somebody like me?
Well, first and foremost, they would talk to someone like you. That's the number one thing that I tell all my clients to do is make sure that you get partnered up with a lender. And secondly is let's talk about your lifestyle. Let's sit down. I want to talk about your family. What do you do? Where do you want to be? And then make sure that I specialize in that area, because I specialize in the South Bay and specifically, Palos Verdes, right? Luckily for me, I grew up pretty much everywhere all over the South Bay between Torrance, Lomita, San Pedro, and PV. a little bit in Newport, so I'm very familiar with all those areas. But I would be doing a disservice to my clients if we did that interview process and their likes, wants, and needs didn't fit the communities that I specialize in.
Right.
Which I think brings us to a whole nother topic too, which we can table for another time. But I think it's so important that I am doing my due diligence to make sure that I'm the right fit for them.
Right.
And if they're not, then there are ways that I can find someone that can better help them find the home of their choice.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Is it true, like, I always hear, like, location, location, location. Like, what is your thoughts on that? Like, is location so important? Is that the thing that buyers should really look at primarily over, like, square footage or finishes or, like...
I think locations is very important, but it also depends on what they want to do, because you can change the house. You can rip it down, you can redecorate, you can remodel it, you can potentially add a story, whether it's going up or down, but you can't change where it is. Mm-hmm. So definitely find the location first, and then everything else can come into play next, whether it's bedroom, bathroom, or square footage, adding a second bath or something. I mean, the house that I had that we're in contract now, it was strictly about location for all the people that put an offer in. It's such a special community, which is interesting about this house too, is it's in Torrance. Torrance is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and I think it's so important that you find someone that specializes in that area because there's so many different pockets of Torrance. There's Torrance PO, there's South Torrance, there's West Torrance, there's Old Torrance, and they're all so different. I mean, the value of your home on the street that my listing is on is higher by potentially $100,000 to $200,000 than the next street over. You're never going to know that unless you have someone that specializes in that area. Right? So, I think that's key.
Didn't you have an agent call you on your listing and was using terrible comp you were talking?
Oh my gosh, that was the funniest. Idea. Yes. So I was actually talking to a client yesterday, and it was another agent that was trying to get him to sell his house. So this agent, and this is, part of what we do. A lot of people don't know that in real estate, obviously we're 100% commission, right? And so in order to drum up business, we work off of referrals, or we go find our clients, whether that means door knocking, mailers, right, talking, phone calls. So this particular agent called, this homeowner and was putting together comparative market analysis and said, hey,
what is that?
Sorry. Thank you. A CMA, or a comparative market analysis. It's basically comps. It's pulling all the other properties in that area to find out the value of your home. So we're comparing like for like, right? So we're looking at lot size. We're looking at house size. We're looking at, beds, baths, does it have a pool, does it not have a pool, does it view, blah, 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 right?
Right.
So this agent, bless her heart, used a house in Torrance on a 5,000 square foot lot as a comp for this house on an acre in Rolling Hills Estates.
Oh my God.
And not just like Rolling Hills Estates, it's one of, if not the most desired community in that city.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
can you imagine?
No, I was embarrassed for them a little bit, because I was like, you can't compare. And then, but you know what? It was to my benefit because I do specialize in that area. I know so many people in that area that I was able to say, hey, obviously I would not use Torrance as a comp for your house because the value of this Torrance property has no bearing whatsoever on your home in Rolling Hills Estates. Also, I would eliminate this community, this community, this community. So
right.
Rolling Hills Estates has several communities that make up the city, right? Every community is different. The community that this house is in is special. It's super special. And there's a lot of families that are local that, like, that's their goal. One day I'm going to end up in this community, right? Mm-hmm. So in my conversation with him, I was able to say, these are the comps I would not use. Right. So you can, as an agent, we have tools where we can just auto-generate a comparative market analysis, and we can just send it off. But you're really not doing your client a service if
Right.
you're really not like pulling the details of each property. And I think it was just a perfect example of why, as a buyer or a seller, you do your due diligence and you interview multiple people.
Yeah.
Because none of us are the same.
Yep.
I think that was crazy. And I was like, oh, but he knew it. I mean, he lives out of the area, but he grew up here. But he was like, can you believe? I'm like, no, actually, I can't.
Well, we were kind of talking about this the other day. It's so crazy to me how we already said, like, real estate is most people's biggest asset, most expensive asset, a huge milestone for a family. Yet, like, they will just hire, like, their cousin who does it part-time and just got licensed yesterday, or the person they see, like, on the grocery cart flippy thing where the kid sits, like, and I'm just like, you wouldn't pick a doctor that way.
Right.
You wouldn't pick, we were just talking about how I drive an hour for my eyebrows. Like, you wouldn't pick, like, a dentist, a hairdresser. Like, you asked for a ton of referrals. Before we did this, I'm like, where do you get your nails done, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get references, you interview, you look them up. But for some reason, I feel like in real estate, like, a lot of people don't do that level of due diligence.
Right.
And it's kind of just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't know.
I don't get it either. I don't know. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I mean, I'm on the other side where I'm like, please interview me.
Yes.
I want to be in front of you. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you, because you get intimate with your clients. I mean, you spend a lot of time together. You know a lot about each other's, personal life, and then you continue that relationship, years down the road. So I think it's important to pick someone that you like.
Yeah, totally. I tell people that all the time. Like, clients sometimes will be like, who's the best agent? And I'll say to them, well, there's obviously more than one professional, well-educated, with a lot of integrity agent in the world, right? There's not just one person.
Right.
But I always say, like, you're going to spend a lot of time with them. You're going to be transacting a really important transaction together.
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time, like, you have to like their style. You have to communicate well with them.
Right.
Because if not, it's going to be torture.
Totally.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could refer a great agent to someone, but if it's a bad personality match, nobody's going to feel good at the end of that transaction.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the client or you, because sometimes clients aren't a good fit too, for how you conduct your business or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really important, and it just shocks me how often people just get into a deal with an agent they literally met for 5 minutes at an open house.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. So.
That's funny. I can't tell you how many times you said this, and it made me go, oh yeah. You were talking about, like, the integrity of how many agents there are that are great, smart, intelligent. Their moral values are, up here. I always say that about this brokerage. So at Vista, Sotheby's, like, I don't know, I always say Vista, but, for our viewers, I want to say Sotheby's too, so they know who we're affiliated with. But I can't tell you how many times I've been in an open house, and I am, my job is to sell the house, right? But when I have agents come in, I find myself kind of selling our brokerage too, because there is a considerable amount of quality people here.
Totally, I agree
so, like,
with that.
yesterday, I lost a listing to another Vista agent, and I was bummed, but at the same time, like, dude, we have quality people here.
Yeah.
I mean, if I lost it to someone that maybe wasn't shady, had, like, not great values, or someone that you couldn't really trust, I'd be really upset.
Yeah.
But, you know, given that I lost it to another Vista agent, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay because I know that they're in good hands. I know they have someone that has good moral standing that's with, you know, a great, great company. But it's just so interesting because I find myself selling the company sometimes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel that way about my company too.
Yeah.
I think that Vista, because of the great leadership or the vision, you know, the integrity in which they built it. I don't know what the magic recipe was.
Right.
But the point is, it has attracted a lot of really quality people.
Right.
To this firm.
Right.
And, you know, what's that saying? I'm trying to think of iron sharpens iron.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, when you're around good people that are professional, knowledgeable, you know, have good business ethics, you're held to that higher standard.
Totally.
And
we lift each other up, too, which is great because it's interesting because it's 100% commission-based business.
Yep.
So when you're working with someone who really is your competitor, and they're like, "Hey, what can I do to help you?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, it's such a cool environment to be a part of. It's such a cool company to be a part of when people are actually cheering you on and they're genuinely wanting to see you win and genuinely wanting to see you succeed, even though on paper they're your competition.
Yeah.
You know, it's just cool. So I really thank you for your time today because I feel like we wanted to start this because we wanted to create transparency for people when they're buying and selling.
Yes.
So they have a clear picture of you know what they're doing because there's so much to lending and there's so much to being a realtor.
So much.
That it's hard to fully understand it if you're not the expert, right?
Yep.
But I feel like it's our job to make sure that we educate our clients to the best of our ability. So I feel like we covered quite a bit today. We covered.
I know we're like there's just so much to get into when it comes to real estate, and I'm excited to kind of get a little more granular and a little more focused on, you know, whatever topic we feel like is important to share with our viewership. Yeah. But for me, I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm excited to do this with you.
Me too.
Because A, I enjoy your company and you're so fun. But B, there is so much to know.
Yeah.
There really is. And I feel like I love, like you said, we're uncovering. It's like behind the scenes. It's what really happens, right? It's like textbook versus street smart.
Totally.
Like, you can read all you want about it, but there's so many nuances to get into to have a really successful, positive transaction. And I'm excited to just, like, share some of those little nuances with people.
Yeah, me too. It's so funny that you say that. It made me of, like, when I took my test, I've said this a million times, when I took my test and got my license, you know, obviously, like, the law is in the test, right? Like, California real estate law. And when you get, you know, working and you're actually in a working environment, there's things that are clearly not on the test, you know, that you have to learn by doing, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So one of the things I thought was so funny is, like, and it's like common knowledge, you know, if I'm selling a house and a buyer's agent comes in with their client, I should not be handing anything to the buyer. It's bad manners, it's bad form. I should be handing it to the buyer's agent, who then hands it to the buyer. And that's not a test. Like, how are you supposed to know that until you know that? Yeah. So, you know, some new agents make that mistake, and you don't know until you don't know.
Yeah.
So, and even if it's like, you know, I'm here and here, you would think that if you're the buyer, I would go like this, but I have to hand it to this person to hand it to you. Like, just so funny. So I'm glad that we're going to dig deep and talk about, like, the things that no one really knows and uncover real estate.
Yeah, and I think as professionals, and this probably happens in every profession, not just ours, but everything is we're doing it all day long, right? We are, like, marinating in real estate transactions 24/7, 365. And we don't realize that like acronyms slip off our tongue, and
Totally.
we just think like everybody knows what that means, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like we think like, well, of course everybody knows
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
And actually it's not true at all.
Yeah.
Most people don't know it, and again, I always like to say it has nothing to do with your IQ,
Right.
how successful you are, how intelligent you are. All my clients are amazing, intelligent people.
Right.
You know? But it's like, I can't fix a car. I'm not a mechanic. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. But I think we forget because real estate is talked about so much. There's all these reality shows and like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, everyone thinks they know how real estate works. But really, there's a lot that people don't know. And I'm excited to shine a little light on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that, you know, just people are more educated and they can be better prepared, better clients,
Totally.
funner to work with, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
What did we cover today? We covered how to be prepared, what your
Yes.
first step is. So your
Yes.
first step is lending,
Yes.
right? So your first step is lending.
First step is lending,
And then what else did we cover? We covered
interviewing your agent.
Oh my gosh. Be
Like-
your own advocate. Interview your agent, interview your lender, make sure that you guys fit, make sure
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, pick who you want to work with. Don't just fall into somebody's lap by happenstance, you know, just
Yeah.
be intentional.
Yeah. And both of these are necessary to have, you know, a strong offer when you find that house that you want to buy and that you want to live in. So, I think that's the meat. That's the meat and potatoes of today.
Yeah. That's
Meat and
at least
potatoes.
it's the structure.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into all the bedrooms.
Yeah, and don't Google stuff, because what did Danny say in his presentation today? It was a soft pull versus hard pull. He's
Oh,
like, don't
God,
Google it.
don't
I'm like,
Google it.
don't Google stuff because you don't know what
Those
you're going to get.
images.
And then your social media is going to giving you ads you don't want. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
all of our smart devices are going to start giving us.
Yeah, ads
Yeah.
we don't want.
I was at an open house, one of our listings on PB Drive North, and a lady came in and we started chatting, and she was like looking for a property for her brother. And after, you know, talking with her, following up with her, I found out that she owns one of like my favorite taco places in the South Bay, and it's a chain, and it's called Tacos El Goloso.
Oh, God,
I know,
love
the
those.
birria tacos are
The
like
birria tacos.
amazing, and the
I'm
potato
gonna weigh
tacos.
300 pounds if I keep eating those.
I know. Well, my husband went to a poker night and he took a picture of the food that they had, and all I saw was like the wrapping, and I was like, you have tacos al goloso. So anyway, the owners opened up a new restaurant in Hermosa Beach. It's called Morena y Tequila. I don't speak Spanish, so my R's are sad. Sorry.
Morena.
Morena. Cocina. Cocina?
Cocina.
Oh, that's not my...
Cucina is Italian.
Thank you, because I took Spanish too, but like, oh, I'm a Mexican. Sorry, I can't speak Spanish. So it is so cute. It's so fun. It's in Hermosa. It's right on PCH. It's right by the pier. I had to look up the address to give it to you guys. It is 1320 Hermosa Ave. Sorry, it's on Hermosa Ave. 1320 Hermosa Ave. Fridays are for salsa.
Oh, shut up.
I know. So they have salsa
Dancing?
dancing on Fridays. Yes, I don't do that either, but
love
I would
salsa.
love to like pretend.
Oh, no, I love to dance.
Okay,
salsa.
good. I'll go cheer you on.
No, you're in dance.
Yeah, and their guacamole is so good. If they served it in a vat, my kids would have licked the bowl. Actually, no,
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
One of them did lick the bowl. Yeah, no, my youngest, she'd hate me for saying that out loud. But I was like, please stop doing that. It's very bad manners. But yeah, that's our tip is the new restaurant in
Morena
Hermosa Beach.
and Cocina?
Morena y Tequila.
Oh, Morena y Tequila, even better.
Oh, sorry, it's called Morena, Cocina y Tequila.
Oh.
So
love it.
Marena on Hermosa Ave. Try
Friday
it.
night
Check it
salsa?
out. Friday night is for salsa
I'm
dancing.
there. Are you going?
And every night is for guacamole.
Every night.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
See?